Greetings, true believers, and welcome to another amazing episode of History of the Marvel Universe. This channel is brought to you in part by Patreon supporters. If you would like to vote in monthly polls and get your name in the special thanks at the end of each episode, you can sign up for as little as $1 per month over at patreon.com/MaryMarvelite. The link is in the description below. The story of the Dragon Man begins with a scientist named Professor Gregson Gilbert, who specialized in superhuman research. After the deaths of his parents and both of his siblings, Gilbert was left alone and lost himself in the worlds of science and fantasy. Desiring a companion who would stay by his side, he felt strangely compelled to build an artificial creature. Fascinated by beasts of legend, Gilbert decided to model his first creation on a mythical dragon, with some inspiration from dinosaurs reflected in the design. But little did he realize he was being subconsciously affected by an alien entity called the Cosmos Automaton. The automaton was initially created millennia ago by the cosmic being known as Galactus, the Eater of Worlds. It primarily existed as a disembodied data loop, but upon reaching a suitable planet, it would find a local being capable of creating a synthetic body which could house its cosmic power, and compelled them to do so. Also, it could prepare that world for its master's arrival. Galactus used this method for approximately 30,000 years until it proved less reliable than recruiting heralds from local populations. But the cosmic automaton still existed and eventually made its way to Earth, where it compelled Gregson Gilbert to build his Dragon Man. Gilbert claimed that he wanted to build a superhuman that he could then study, and using technology pioneered by other scientists, he gave his creation flexible polymer skin, a computer brain, and even included anti-gravity machines which would eventually allow it to fly. Standing over 15 feet tall and weighing 3.2 tons, the Dragon Man certainly looked impressive, but with no internal engine or power source, it was incapable of moving on its own. This was, of course, because the cosmic automaton intended on inhabiting it, but before this could happen, Gilbert was approached by a man known as Esteban Diablo. Much older than he appeared, Diablo was born in the 9th century and had a thirst for forbidden knowledge. And this eventually led him to the ancient superdemon Mephisto, one of several hell lords to have used the name Satan. Striking a deal with the devil, Diablo sold his soul in exchange for the secrets of alchemy. And although his alchemical gifts were flawed, a consequence of the Faustian bargain, Diablo survived into the modern day and became enemies with the superhero team the Fantastic Four. Their membership, of course, included Reed Richards, Ben Grimm, Susan Storm, and her brother Johnny. Diablo subsequently confronted Professor Gilbert in his lab at State U, the same university that Reed and Ben had attended. Diablo offered to use his alchemical potions to bring the inanimate robot to life, and although he was skeptical, Gilbert agreed, in the vain hope that his creation would provide him with the companionship he desperately wanted. And much to the professor's amazement, the alchemist's claims proved to be true, and what once appeared to be little more than an oversized toy now moved as if it were alive. Diablo, however, was plotting revenge on his enemies and commanded the creature to attack the Fantastic Four. A combination of science and sorcery, Dragon Man's artificial body was nearly indestructible and virtually tireless. Tremendously strong, his powerful limbs and tail could easily smash through solid stone. Dragon Man could even fly and exhale a stream of flames like his mythological namesake. However, his level of intelligence was approximately that of a domestic dog's, and Susan Storm took notice. She was able to calm the Dragon Man, not with force, but by showing that she didn't mean him harm. Diablo, meanwhile, was not willing to give up, and attempted to strike his foes with a freezing potion. However, the Dragon Man turned on Diablo, causing him to drop his concoction into a nearby lake. The evil alchemist began making his escape across the frozen surface, but Dragon Man gave chase and crashed through the ice. Ben Grimm attempted to go in after them, but the underwater currents separated Diablo and Dragon Man, causing them to get lost in subterranean caves. Before we continue with the Dragon Man story, let's tie up a loose end and discuss what happened with the Cosmos Automaton. The whole incident with Diablo had rendered Gilbert's creation unsuitable for the automaton's purposes, and so it moved on to find another appropriate mind, settling on the rogue scientist known as the Mad Thinker. Compelled by the automaton to build an artificial body that would inspire fear in the general public, the Thinker modeled his creation after the Incredible Hulk. Unaware of why he'd built it in the first place, the Thinker locked the android away, where it was later found by a group of engineering students who took credit for its creation. Dubbed the Cosmic Hulk, this body was inhabited by the Cosmos Automaton and activated, but was subdued by members of the superhuman race known as the Eternals. It eventually returned, but was finally destroyed by the Red Hulk. As for the Dragon Man, although the icy waters had rendered him inert, he reportedly resurfaced when he was discovered in an underground cavern by the mutant superhero team, the X-Men. He initially attacked, but was soon calmed by their female member, Jean Grey. For a few weeks, the X-Men took care of the synthetic dragon, and he accompanied them on several missions. While Dragon Man didn't require oxygen to survive, his alchemically animated body did need food to refuel, but he was able to draw sustenance from a wide range of matter. However, he was often difficult to control and couldn't always distinguish good from bad. Eventually, it was decided that he be released on Monster Island, a haven for colossal creatures in the northern Pacific Ocean. Dragon Man was left there, but he wouldn't remain there, and he instinctively returned to his underground cave. There he hibernated until he was awakened by a fiery battle between Johnny Storm, the Fantastic Four's Human Torch, and the amnesiac Inhuman Medusa. He initially attacked in a grumpy rage, but upon seeing the beautiful woman, he remembered those who were kind to him before and grew calm. However, Medusa was being pursued by her cousin Gorgon, who wished to bring her back to her family. To briefly explain further, these two were members of a hidden superhuman race known as the Inhumans. Medusa was born into royalty in the city of Atalan and was betrothed to the Inhuman king Blackagar Boltagon. However, Black Bolt's brother, Maximus the Mad, led a genetically engineered worker race, the Alpha Primitives, in a revolt against his own people. In the ensuing battle, Medusa was left injured outside of their great refuge, able to remember her own name and little else. Meanwhile, by holding important and influential Inhumans hostage, Maximus successfully usurped the throne, and key figures in the royal family were banished from Atalan, including Black Bolt and Gorgon. The exiled Inhumans set up a base of operations on a Mediterranean island and began their long search for the missing Medusa. She was later recruited by a supervillain known as the Wizard and became a member of his Frightful Four. This led to her battling the Fantastic Four, which caught the attention of her cousin Gorgon, and brings us back to where we left off. Wanting to defend her from the perceived threat, Dragon Man briefly battled the incomparable Inhuman before taking Medusa and flying away. Gorgon gave chase, as did Johnny and the rest of the Fantastic Four, leading to further conflict. In the midst of this, Dragon Man remembered Susan Storm and carried her with him as he attempted to escape. While Gorgon left with Medusa, Susan was able to convince Dragon Man to follow Johnny back to the Baxter Building, where the Fantastic Four's headquarters were located. The FF cleared out a large room to serve as a temporary refuge for the beast, but Dragon Man grew aggressive when Ben Grimm, the Thing, tried to force him into it. Ultimately, the dragon was sedated and comfortably placed in the room while the FF continued to investigate the situation with the Inhumans. Medusa was reunited with her family, and ultimately her memory was restored. Meanwhile, an Inhuman called the Seeker, who was loyal to the throne, broke into the Baxter building while the FF were away. Suspecting that Dragon Man was a rogue Inhuman, Seeker had him restrained and planned to bring him back to their refuge. But when he awakened in shackles before he'd even left New York, the Dragon Man flew into a rage and broke free. He escaped into the city, but his rampage was halted by the Human Torch, who bombarded him with ultraviolet rays until he shut down. This time he was turned over to the authorities and brought to a lab on a desert island for study. After the scientists there made little progress in deducing just how Diablo had brought the creature to life, Reed Richards suggested that Dragon Man be given to the brilliant biochemist Hank Pym. At the time, Pym was operating as an Avenger under the code name Goliath, but he's also well known as the original Ant-Man. And in fact, it was Hank Pym's study of the synthetic dragon that sparked his interest in artificial life, soon leading him to create the rogue AI known as Ultron. Oh, and to tie up this loose end, Black Bolt did indeed reclaim the throne from his insane brother, made peace with the Fantastic Four, and eventually married Medusa, making her the queen of the Inhumans. But back to the story at hand, shortly after Dragon Man was given to Hank Pym, Diablo returned, having survived his dive into the frozen lake. Breaking into Pym's lab, he revived Dragon Man, bringing the beast under his control once again. Despite the efforts of several other Avengers, Diablo and Dragon Man successfully defeated and abducted Goliath and his partner the Wasp. Bringing him to his castle in Transylvania, the power-mad alchemist planned on making Pym help him bring an entire army of dragon men to life. However, his stronghold was discovered by the other Avengers, and he was ultimately defeated. While most of the team was confronting Diablo, the legendary hero Hercules ventured underground to rescue the Wasp. There he battled Dragon Man in the dangerous volcanic caverns. That fight ended when Hercules tossed his massive opponent into a pit of molten lava. It seemed to be the end of Dragon Man, but his indestructible body had survived once again, and was subsequently recovered by the villainous Dr. Dorcas. Dorcas brought Dragon Man to Empire State University, where he coerced his creator, Gregson Gilbert, into helping him. Manipulated once again, Dragon Man was used by Dorcas in his battle against his enemy, Namor the Submariner. However, Namor was victorious over the android, encasing him in ice in a refrigerated freight car. This car was subsequently found by the wealthy criminal Gregory Gideon, himself another enemy of the Fantastic Four. Note that Gregory Gideon should not be confused with Dragon Man's creator, Gregson Gilbert. Gideon planted a sonic control device on Dragon Man, intending to use him to capture Susan Storm. At the time, Susan had taken her young son Franklin and stepped away from the Fantastic Four. Meanwhile, her spot on the team was taken up by none other than Medusa. Dragon Man succeeded in capturing Susan and Franklin, but still felt a deep affection towards her. In spite of the control device, when it seemed as though Gideon's men were going to harm her, the dragon fought to defend Susan. Things came to a head after the Fantastic Four arrived, and Medusa used her prehensile hair to remove the sonic controller from Dragon Man. Free again, Dragon Man turned on Gideon himself, plunging him into his own machinery and killing him. However, doing so had rendered the android comatose as he lapsed into a dormant state resembling death. Dragon Man's body was subsequently acquired by the brilliant roboticist known as the Machine Smith. Plotting to use him against his enemy, Captain America, Machine Smith re-energized and revived the Dragon Man. He then soothed the android with a machine he called Gadget 12. This device was a small floating orb that emitted a calming sonic frequency. Machine Smith programmed Gadget 12 to lead Dragon Man to Captain America. before switching its frequency to one which caused him extreme pain, sending Dragon Man into a rage. However, Cap was able to deduce the source of the creature's pain and quickly destroyed Gadget 12. The lumbering android was able to think clearly once again and slowly deduced that the shiny ball had caused his distress. Remembering where the Machinesmith was, Dragon Man angrily returned. But the brilliant roboticist was ready for this and sent several more gadgets to electrocute the android and deactivate him. Captain America, however, had followed the Dragon Man and defeated Machinesmith. Dragon Man subsequently awakened and escaped, later resurfacing in Pennsylvania. There he made a home for himself in an abandoned mine shaft where he made a makeshift bed and kept old toys he'd scavenged. Of his meager possessions, his favorite was a blonde-haired doll that reminded him of the first person to show him kindness, Susan Storm. And it was there that he met an extra-dimensional fugitive named Ral Dorn. He was from a world called Ramat Polan, where men like his father were trained to be dragon riders. However, Dorn was denied this opportunity and framed for the murder of the young dragons in the nursery. Fleeing to Earth, he sought out the Fantastic Four, who in turn helped him track Dragon Man. Dragon Man formed a bond with Ral Dorn and returned with him and the Fantastic Four to Ramat Polan. There, Dorn challenged the Dragon Lord Skaga to combat astride their mounts. In the end, Dorn and Dragon Man were victorious, and Skaga was exposed as the one responsible for murdering the young dragons. Ral Dorn was declared the new Dragon Lord, and Dragon Man remained with him in Ramat Polan for some time. The specifics of what happened to Dragon Man after this in that other dimension are unrevealed, but it is known that while he felt at peace there, he was somehow expelled back to Earth. Seeking sanctuary, he was found by a supervillain called the Ringmaster, who used his hypnotic disc to recruit the Dragon Man into his circus of crime. However, when the Ringmaster took an opportunity to hypnotize the Incredible Hulk, he lost control of Dragon Man. The Hulk and Dragon Man briefly battled, but Dragon Man destroyed Ringmaster's hypnotic disc and escaped. He was subsequently manipulated by a mobster named Chick D'Angelo, who used an ultrasonic controller to force Dragon Man to capture his creator, Gregson Gilbert. This time he was rescued by Katie and Julie Power, two members of the group of superpowered children known as the Power Pack. D'Angelo wanted Gilbert to build him an army of robot monsters, starting with 4 prototypes: Basilisk, Cockatrice, Griffin, and Troglodyte. However, Gilbert was ultimately rescued by Power Pack, their allies Cloak and Dagger, and Dragon Man. Dragon Man was reunited with his creator, and Gilbert allowed him to come and go as he pleased. Unfortunately, he would continue to be taken advantage of by others over the years. Philip Masters, the sinister puppet master, used his radioactive clay to take control of Dragon Man. This was part of his plot to sabotage his daughter's wedding to Johnny Storm. However, when he saw that his daughter Alicia was happy, he abandoned this plan and instead turned Dragon Man on his allies, the Wizard and the Mad Thinker. Ironically, it wasn't really Alicia Masters that married Johnny Storm, but a shape-shifting alien Skrull named Elijah who was impersonating her. For several months, the Dragon Man was used by Aaron, the rogue Watcher, in the early phases of his schemes. As a part of his plans, Dragon Man was sent to battle Sharon Ventura, the second Ms. Marvel. Her ally, She-Hulk, was with her at the time, but seemed unable to draw Dragon Man's attention away from Sharon. This was until she stopped attacking him and tried a more flirtatious strategy. She-Hulk knew that Dragon Man had previously developed a crush on Susan Storm and attempted something similar. Confused and nervous, Dragon Man fled, returning to the Rogue Watcher, having already accomplished his task by obtaining cell samples from Ms. Marvel. As part of the Acts of Vengeance conspiracy, he was controlled by the Wizard and sent to battle Spider-Man. He lost that battle because at the time, Spider-Man was unknowingly endowed with the cosmic powers of Captain Universe. He was next manipulated by the Grey Gargoyle and battled both She-Hulk and an alien hunter named Surge. The two worked together to defeat Dragon Man, but She-Hulk stopped the hunter from taking the creature's life. Dragon Man was forced to join a group of androids called the New Enforcers, but failed again to defeat Spider-Man. He was later captured by the notoriously corrupt Roxxon Corporation, where he was studied by the Mad Doctor, Jonas Harrow. This time he was freed by the second Spider-Man, Ben Reilly. Dragon Man again proved that while he would attack when provoked, he could be calmed by those who appeared non-threatening. He was later recaptured by Roxxon and Harrow, who wished to create synthezoids of their own. This time he escaped thanks to the interference of Ben Grimm, She-Hulk, and a tribe of insectoid vampires. Over the years in between all these escapes and manipulations, Dragon Man would regularly return to Professor Gilbert. Finding that his creation would always attempt to escape when caged, he simply let the Dragon Man come and go as he pleased, giving him training when he could. During one of these trips, Gilbert had been replaced by an alien Skrull. However, Dragon Man sensed the deception right away and attacked. Ben Grimm was prepared to fight Dragon Man, but fortunately Johnny Storm, having some experience in this regard, deduced what was happening and rescued the real Professor Gilbert. And so things continued like this for a time, with Dragon Man's simple mind often being manipulated by those who would use his strength for their own ends. Puppet Master had him fight the Fantastic Four, Eurystheus had him fight Hercules, Dr. Payne had him fight Black Panther and Wolverine, and on until he was finally locked away in Prison 42, a superhuman holding facility located in the alien universe known as the Negative Zone. This facility was subsequently taken over by a warlord from the Negative Zone named Blastar, but a team of heroes later attempted to retake control of it. During this, a female hero named Komodo was injured, causing Dragon Man to defend her and defeat Blastar's forces. After that, Dragon Man was turned over to the Fantastic Four to live a more peaceful existence. Once there, Reed Richards and Susan Storm's brilliant daughter, Valeria, decided to upgrade Dragon Man's mind and make him more intelligent. She discovered that, for all intents and purposes, Dragon Man's computer mind shouldn't even have been able to function. Which actually makes sense because he was only brought to life in the first place because of Diablo's alchemy. However, Valeria, like her father, is a genius of superhuman intellect, and was able to deduce a way of rebuilding Dragon Man's brain. Reprogrammed for pacifism, Dragon Man joined the Future Foundation's special class, alongside Valeria and other highly intelligent children. And that's pretty much the story of Dragon Man. He's been with the Future Foundation and has learned and adventured with them on Earth and across the multiverse ever since. But that's all I've got for you this week, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, share the video, and subscribe for more marvelous content. Be sure to leave a comment letting me know what Marvel hero or villain you want to hear about next, and as always, the issues referenced in this video are listed in the description below if you would like to read them for yourself, as well as links to other places you can find me, including my Patreon page, where for only $1 a month you can get your name in these special thanks here. So until next time, true believers, Excelsior!